How much XRP do you need to be rich? It's the million-dollar question XRP holders have been asking themselves for a decade. Today, we're going to break down the XRP chart and do a little analysis. Now, the reason I'm asking that question is this viral post right here. I'm sick and tired of the view bait posts misleading the XRP community. You will not be rich from a $500 XRP investment. Get to at least $10,000 minimum to see real profits. Stop believing these XRP influencers and use common sense. Well, when you break down his analysis here, can you get rich with the $10,000 allocation? That'll give you 3,448 XRP. And if we hit $10 target, that's only going to be $34,000. But what about well beyond a $10 XRP? Well, we can look at that as well. There's roughly 59 billion tokens. So every price milestone will have a massive market cap change. At a $20 XRP, the market cap of XRP would be over $1 trillion. $100 XRP, it would be a $6 trillion market cap. $6 trillion market cap is quite significant. Such valuations require levels of adoption and capital inflow far beyond what the current crypto market scales. Looking at the current crypto market cap, the entire crypto market cap is $3.9 trillion. So just XRP making up $6 trillion, very unlikely. Now we're going to look at two charts. First one's XRP BTC. Now this is showing a huge major move that's impending, and we can see that by the daily Bollinger midline. Now the Bollinger Bands is a signal that a major move is about to happen. When the bands tighten, it signals an imminent large move. And these top and bottom lines are the Bollinger Bands. When there's a squeezing of the Bollinger Bands, I like to relate it to a spring. The tighter you push a spring, the more it's going to shoot off in a wild direction. And so the more you tighten these Bollinger Bands, the more likely that crypto or that asset is also going to move in a major direction. And every time it tightens, there is a major move. It tightens, major move, tighten, makes a major move, another tighten, makes a major move. Here we have another major move. And then you can see it got super tight. These Bollinger Bands got as tight as it ever was during this entire time period, going back multiple years. And then that's when we got a relatively very large move on XRP. And if you zoom in slightly, the Bollinger Bands look like they're starting to tighten again. So XRP Bitcoin is looking quite bullish in the short time frame. This right here is 1 hour candles. On the 1 hour candles, you can see very strong support and a little bit of a downward sloping line. Looks like we're maybe about to break out of this imminently. And if we can break out of it, that will take us to the next level of support. This again is XRP priced in Bitcoin. Right now, you can see the price is about 2,500 Satoshis, and we have a target of about 3,000 Satoshis. And this 3,000 Satoshi target is, a pretty good pump from here, and it's just going to be the previous area of resistance, and you can see it happening right here as well. And it was the perfect place of resistance in December of 2024. Now, when we zoom out of this hourly chart and go to the weekly chart, you'll see that this level is very important. Not only was it the perfect area of resistance in 2024, but you can go all the way back to 2019 and see, it was very close to the first area of support and ended up being the first area of resistance. And here you can see the resistance in 2024, but you also see a level above this. Now, this level above this, if we can clear this hurdle, turn this into support, I think XRP Bitcoin trading pair should take us to about 4,200 Satoshis. And you can go and see that was the last area of resistance, and it was the last area of support. So if we're able to get up to that level, that means XRP pumps 65% against Bitcoin, and there's, a chance that Bitcoin increases an additional 50% or maybe even 100%. But the last chart is the most bullish chart. So let's see how much XRP you really do need to get rich. So XRP's chart is a perfect textbook example of a Wyckoff accumulation schematic. Wyckoff accumulation schematic just basically means it is visualizing the Wyckoff method. Wyckoff method is the process of institutional investors accumulating a stock or a crypto before a significant price increase. So let's break down, are we going to see a significant price increase? Is this mirroring a Wyckoff pattern? Now, this prediction is saying we are in the last stages before an uptrend. And right now, we're currently at the last point of support and about to enter in the sign of strength, the SOS area. All right, well, let's break down what some of these mean. Now, PSY is going to be preliminary supply. Now, the preliminary supply will take us to the BCLX. This is the buyer's climax. Now, this buying climax is where the buyers, the retail buyers, meets their first institutional grade selling pressure. And so this is signaling the big institutions first starting to take their profit. And this will then take us to the AR. AR is just going to stand for automatic rally. The rally is just going to start just because of the large selling pressure. So it's almost an automatic rally that's baked in. But this has to take you to the ST. ST is the secondary test, and you can even tell back here, you kind of need to get a little bit higher high on the secondary test, and then that leads into resistance, and then that leads into support. You can see right here the resistance into the support will then lead to the creek. The creek is what we're seeing right here, and we have to jump across the creek. Well, you can see we jumped across that creek, and we flew across that creek more likely, and then that took us to the LPS. And as the post said, LPS is last point of support. So on the bottom, you can see a this is actually literally a textbook perfect example of Wyckoff accumulation. Wyckoff accumulation essentially leads to a doubling. It will double from the buying climax all the way down to the support, and you'll see this area roughly doubles until you hit the next sign of strength. Now again, this pattern just shows you when smart money is accumulating and when smart money is selling, and then the potential targets from that. And it looks like a lot of smart money has been following this pattern to a T. So let's go ahead and measure this. We're going to go from the buying climax down to the support, and then that's going to give us our potential target for a nice, juicy XRP price prediction. So when we measure buying climax to support, we get essentially a $1.27 difference. So we would add a $1.27 from the buying climax. And then that would give us a fair target of, it's weird how that works, 418, right under 420. But I think there's an argument that you can say we might go from the secondary test from the support, and then maybe that's going to be the range. So measuring this, you can see that XRP gained $1.79. And when you look at the Wyckoff pattern, I think you can make an argument from buying climax to support, we double, or from the secondary test to support. So let's go ahead and add $1.79 from this area for the secondary test, and then we get our nice little juicy XRP price prediction, and that's going to be $5.18. So back to our original question, how much XRP do you need to get rich? With the $5.89 XRP, you could have 100,000 XRP tokens, and you're barely going to have above $500,000. But 589 is probably going to be rich to most of the world, and I would consider that, a fair amount myself. So maybe you could say 100,000 tokens. Yeah, you got a nice shot at $500,000. $10, $20, $100, that's when we got to start having conversations about market cap size. But I definitely think the charts do support a $5 XRP, and I think the Bitcoin trading pair also looks like it's pretty much due for a reversal here. So that's our XRP price prediction. I'm DZ for Discover Crypto. Hopefully I'll see you in your moonshot bag at the top.